Okay, I think I am live. Yep, there we go. Hey, everybody. Whew. Okay, there is a lot of energy around this eclipse. I'm like getting emotional, of course, as soon as I hop on. That's like record time for me. I think I was on 19 seconds before I started getting emotional. So hi Emma. So welcome. Today I am going to be I'm going to be sharing some messages that I just channeled. Hi Tao, that I just channeled, hot off the presses. I literally just channeled this right now. But before I do that, I just want to talk about a couple of things. There's two main themes that are coming up here. And the other thing I just want to mention is like how intense this energy has been for me personally. So I just want to put it out there because I have had a rough few days just emotionally. I feel like there's so much coming up for me to look at and for everyone to look at. Hi, Holly. Yes, definitely let me know you're here. Let me know you're watching. And yes, and let me know if you have questions too. So the last few days for me around this eclipse has been really, really intense. I have had a lot of energy coming up, a lot of intense anxiety moving through me, which is something that I haven't really dealt with in a while. I think it was this deep rooted feeling of anxiety within me that is bubbling to the surface. And I know that I'm aware that I'm being pushed to a new level, not only in my business, but just in the way that I teach, the way that I communicate, and just my own personal practice. And in the face of that, things are coming up. And this is a theme that I'm going to be talking about. And I apologize if you hear kids in the background. My kids' pod is here today at my house. So if you hear kids screaming, just ignore it. Okay. So, really, right now, there's two major themes coming up. Okay. And the first one is around a really serious push, right? And that's the energy that I'm feeling very strongly is a push. It's like we are being pushed to release very old ancestral trauma and ancestral programming around ways of being. So, how we operate in the world, belief systems, ways of thinking, right? Ways of living ways of operating, right? That are no longer serving us, that we've been carrying down our ancestral lines, okay? Where these things are usually based in scarcity, lack, fear, trading, who you really are for safety and security. And I know that this was a theme that came up in the last one too, but right now we are really looking at the things that we are carrying from our ancestral line that are based in scarcity and lack that cannot go forward with us any longer in our ascension process, right? So that's the first theme, is a push. It's a big push to release this ancestral trauma, these ancestral operating systems, right? It's kind of like the iPhone when you have to like upgrade the operating system. That's what's happening right now. We are being pushed to do it. It's not like they're saying like, "Hey, it'd be nice if you did that." The universe is like, "Boom, you got to do it." And that's what the energy is like, okay? So that's the first thing. The second theme that is coming up really strong is opening up. Sorry, I'm just reading what I wrote. Opening up to higher wisdom, psychic abilities, and higher states of consciousness. So this is actually like goes hand in hand with the first thing. It's actually like what came first, the chicken or the egg type thing, because as you step into your psychic abilities and you step into higher states of consciousness, you're automatically forced to release that ancestral programming, right? Because that is vibrating at a lower frequency. And when you raise your frequency into these higher states of consciousness, you have to release that lower frequency because it just can't it's not a match. It can't, you have to transmute it to be able to move to those higher states. Okay, so that's what's happening. And then simultaneously, as you release the ancestral trauma, you are able to open up to these higher states of consciousness and access your psychic abilities in a completely new way. Okay, so it's kind of like these two things that are operating like almost like the yin and the yang, or they just go together, right? And these are the two main themes that I am feeling and just knowing really strong around this eclipse and what it's bringing forward for us. Okay, so with that being said, oh, hi Roxy, hi Easter, so hi Holly. So yes, so those are the two main themes that I downloaded, and now I'm going to go into the messages from my guides that came through, and I'll explain them as I go on. Okay, so here we go. So the first message is, you are stepping into higher states of consciousness, which means your frequency is raising or quickening, okay, which is basically what I just said. It means that as you step into these higher states of awareness, your frequency actually gets quicker, right? So it's like you're vibrating at a higher frequency, and you have access to knowledge that's vibrating at a higher frequency. Hi, Corinne. Yes, so your frequency is quickening. That's why it might seem like things are actually moving faster, right? Because I know for me, and I know my clients have said this to me too, like it seems like everything's moving so fast, or it seems like time is speeding up. And it will feel that way because your vibration is quickening, okay? Hi, Andrea. Yes, so true, right? So then they're saying, this means you'll be pushed to transmute anything you're holding that vibrates slower. Fear, pain, worry, anxiety, and old belief systems based on fear and scarcity. So yeah, so that's basically the theme that I was just talking about, is as you raise your consciousness, you're going to be forced to transmute these old feelings because they cannot move forward with you. It's just impossible. So as these feelings are coming up, you're going to feel like, oh my, like you're losing your mind, right? Like this is how I felt the last 2 days. Like I'm having all of this anxiety come up, all of this self-doubt, right? But what's happening is, as I'm stepping into the next level, that I'm being shown what is blocking me from stepping into that next level. And this is what you're going to notice for yourself too. So if you notice that you're feeling overwhelming anxiety, you're having like fear of scarcity or lack or self-doubt, it's just showing itself to you so you can transmute it and release it so you can step into higher states of consciousness. So just know that you don't have to get stuck in it. It's not who you are. You don't have to identify with it. Just allow it to move through you. Use the tools that you have. If you haven't utilized my breathwork session that I give out, definitely grab that in the group, or you can get it when you sign up for my email list. So use the tools that you have to move through the energy, okay? Okay, next. Be very mindful of what information you are putting in right now and avoid anything that's fear-based. Okay, so this is really, really important. And this is another kind of theme that I actually saw when I channeled this, is about being really, really mindful of what energies you put yourself around, because it will make it more difficult for you to transmute these old feelings if you are putting yourself around people and information that is of those lower frequencies, because then you'll just identify with it and you'll stay stuck. Okay, so what they're saying is it's really important to be mindful about what you're taking in. Okay, like what you're reading, what people you're around, what you're watching on TV. Like be really, really mindful about how you feel when you're inputting information, or when you're around a certain person, or when you're talking to somebody. Like be really mindful of those subtle energies where you're like, is this contributing to my transformation? Is this contributing to me stepping into higher states of consciousness? Because if the answer is no, you want to like cancel, clear immediately, right? Because it'll make it more difficult for you to move through this. All right. So this is really, really important. The next thing they're saying is shine your light of consciousness on the things that do not serve you. Okay, so I'm going to repeat that. Shine your light of consciousness on the things that do not serve you. Okay, so this is really, really important. It's not about judgment, it's about discernment. It's about looking at what you are doing in your life that is no longer serving your highest good and shining your light of consciousness on it. What that means is becoming conscious of the fact that there might be people, situations, things that you're doing, jobs, homes, people that are no longer in alignment with your highest good and with your soul's mission, right? Why you came here. They're not aligning anymore. And it's really, really important for you to allow those things to come into your consciousness. Because when you do, you'll be able to then shift them and create a world for yourself where everything is aligning with your highest good, which will ultimately support you in going through this transformation in a really, I don't want to say easy way, but in a supported way, okay? In an aligned way, in a way that feels like you're being held by the universe, by the earth, because you are, right? We're all going through this together. But if you continue to engage in things and say yes to things that are actually no longer aligned for you, you make it harder to move through this. So what they're saying is be aware of those things that are no longer serving you and don't be afraid to let them go. And that's part of another thing that they said later. Okay, so let me keep going. You now have the ability and support of the universe. What did I write? Oh, and support of the universe, God, and your guides to release systems of thought that are no longer in alignment with your highest good and your highest mission. Okay, so what they're saying here is that now more than ever, because of the upgrades, because of the light code activations, because of all of the higher frequency light that is coming in on the planet right now. Oh, and by the way, I meant to say this in the very beginning. My guide showed me that they're actually helping hold the space right now for this to activate you. So this message, not just the words I'm saying, but the energy that I'm transmitting by the words that I'm saying are actually activating you right now. So just notice how that feels. Okay. I forgot to mention that in the beginning, but they did tell me that. Okay, so what they're saying is because of the energies that are happening on the planet right now, especially this eclipse and then what's happening on Monday the 21st, you are supported more than ever in transmuting these old ways of being. So it's like, what they're saying is it's easier than ever right now. Okay, so you're going to have the ability right now to shift and change way more quickly than you would even a couple years ago, right? Because the energies are supporting it. So just know that like, you're supported more than ever in moving through this process. And if you ask for something, all you have to do is be willing to look at what's standing in the way between you and that thing. And once you acknowledge that and you set the intention to move past it, it will happen because the energies are supporting it. Okay, so that's what they mean by that. And you're being asked to release anything that is no longer in alignment. Okay. So this one they were really adamant about, okay? This is like really, really important. Be willing to let things go, which I already said, and listen to your intuition, especially if it scares you. Okay, so I'm going to explain this because this is really important because this is something I've been experiencing a lot lately, and I know that this is like a theme for everyone. You must listen to your intuition, A. B, especially if what your intuition is telling you to do scares the shit out of you. Because it's when you do that thing that your intuition told you that scares the shit out of you that the magic occurs. Because the reason why it scares the shit out of you is because you are being shown what is the thing, you are being shown what's on the other side of the thing that's blocking you. Okay? So when you do that thing that scares you, that your intuition keeps nudging you, like, do this, do this, do this, and your logical mind is like, I don't have the money. That literally makes no sense. There's no way I'm doing that. Like, forget it. Like, when you have that push-pull with your intuition and your mind, because I know that I have this all the time, you need to do the thing. Now more than ever before is what they're saying. So this is really important. If you only take one thing away from this, take this. Whatever your intuition is telling you to do, especially the very scary stuff, you need to do it and do it immediately. Don't sleep on it, right? And I know everyone kind of works a little bit differently, and it's okay if you sleep on it. But what I'm saying is don't wait, because the energy of waiting actually makes it less potent for you. So if you do the thing that you're scared to do right away, that's when the growth just happens exponentially, and the things that you are creating come to you exponentially. Okay? Ooh, sorry. Hold on. Someone just called me. Okay. So that's really important. All right, awesome. And let me know if you guys have questions too, but I'm going to keep going with the messages. Okay, don't be afraid to disconnect from people and situations that don't lift you up. Okay, so this is what I kind of mentioned a little bit before, but I know it can be hard sometimes when you have people in your life that have been in your life for a long time, and you kind of feel like an obligation to them, or you feel like you should talk to them or get together with them or whatever it is. But right now, more than ever, it's so important to be mindful of your own energy. And if you feel like you should get together with someone or talk to them on the phone even, but your soul, your heart, your intuition is telling you it's a no, then you need to honor that. Because actually right now, one of the best things you can do is not really engage with too many people unless it's someone that you feel like is going to really feed your soul, is someone who's really going to support you in this very specific way of transformation. But if it's someone that you feel like is going to pull you in the opposite direction, you want to say no. You want to say no immediately, because that is actually going to make things a lot more difficult for you in the coming weeks. So don't be afraid to just say no. Say, listen, guys, like, I'm going inward right now. Like, for the rest of the year, I really just want to, like, be in my own space, be by myself. Like, totally fine. The universe is saying that's exactly what you need to do. Okay? So don't be afraid to say no to anybody. It's actually going to support you so much right now to do that. Okay? Okay. You will be feeling enough density right now that you don't want to take on anyone else's stuff. Okay? So right now, so what they're saying is, like, right now, you're going to be dealing with flushing out all of your own density, all of those lower vibrational frequencies that are no longer serving you, like I was talking about in the beginning. Because in order to raise your frequency, we need to transmute those dense frequencies. So you're going to be dealing with your own density. And if you are around people that have a lot of density that could kind of bring you down, essentially, you want to stay away from those people, because you're going to be dealing with your own density. You can't take on anyone else's right now. Okay, that's really important too. Don't be afraid to set boundaries. Don't be afraid to say no. Okay, whew, I have so much energy running through my body right now. It's insane. I can, like, feel the energy transmitting through me. It's really cool. Okay. And okay, so this is really cool. So, having said that, they also said, and simultaneously hold space for those who are not yet awakened. So, what they're saying is like loving boundaries, say no to people in your energy, but at the same time, hold the space for them. Don't judge them, right? And I think that's the next thing that they said. But what happens is if you don't like resist the urge to be like, oh, I can't be around that person. They're just like too low vibe, or they're this or they're that. Because when you do that, you then create a divide, you create separation, and you actually create that within yourself. So, what is better to do for your own practice and for your own transformation is to be like, okay, I'm aware that I don't want this person in my energy right now. However, I'm going to hold the space for them and I'm going to see them as enlightened. I'm going to see them as their higher self. I'm going to see them as the highest version of them. And I'm going to hold the space for them to step into that. Right? So that's really important. And not only is that really helpful for other people, but it's a really helpful way for you to look at situations so you don't get bogged down with like, oh, I can't deal with this person and oh, I can't deal with that person, because that actually drains your energy. Okay? So that's really important. Okay, so the next thing was don't judge, because this causes divide and separation. Especially don't judge yourself. This will prolongate the process. So this is really important. So when these emotions come up, when these lower vibrational energies come up for you to transmute in the form of sadness, fear, worry, doubt, anxiety, right? When these things come up, don't judge yourself. Don't think that there's something wrong with you or that this is who you are. Know that this is just a process of releasing and transmuting emotions so that you can step into a higher state of consciousness, so that you can raise your frequency, right? It's just a process. So it's important to remember that and not judge yourself, because when you do that, you then create a divide within yourself and you prolong the process of transformation. Okay? The next thing, this is not the time for distractions. In the coming week, do everything you can to be with yourself and be very honest and real with yourself about what's coming up for you. So this is really important about distractions. And I know that because I struggle with this too, because I run my business online. I run my business on social media. So it's really hard to disconnect from all of those distractions. And in the coming weeks, what they're saying is it would be really beneficial for you to create time and space where you completely disconnect and you sit with yourself and you give yourself the space to feel what is present for you. Now more than ever, it's so important that you do this, because right now you will get so much information when you do that that will be so helpful as you're moving into these next few weeks, because more and more and more you're going to be pushed, right? And as you're pushed, you're going to be aware of the things that need to be released. And the only way that you can really become aware of that fully is by really sitting with it. Okay, so minimize distractions, give yourself the time and the space to feel and to be with yourself. Like sometimes what I like to do is leave like my phone and my computer in another room, so that way like I can't even grab it if I wanted to, and then just like lay down in my meditation. I like to lay down in my meditation, but whatever it is. So that way you're not even like, you don't even want to, or you're not even tempted, right? So that's really important about distractions. Do the work to transmute the old energies. Draw on the wisdom you now have access to. Okay, so this is really important. So what they're saying here is like, you now have access to more wisdom than you previously did, because as you're being activated, you now actually have access to higher levels of knowledge than you previously did before. Because I explained this on some other video recently about your multidimensionality, right? So we're multidimensional beings, and there's actually pieces of ourselves that are living in other dimensions simultaneously, right? So for example, our physical body is in the 3D, but there's, our higher self is actually living in the 5D or in another dimension. But right now we have access to the wisdom that is living in the other dimensions, or we have more access because of the shifts that are happening on the planet. So what they're saying is, give yourself the time and the space to transmute the energy. And as you're doing that, draw on the wisdom that you have access to. So start to talk to your guides. And I know many of you do that. Talk to your guides. Ask for information. Ask what you should do next. You will receive answers. So all they're saying is like, tap into that wisdom that you now have access to, because now it's going to be easier than ever for you to tap into that. Okay? Really important. You are being guided and supported on so many levels. Be quiet and alone and tap into that support. You will receive all the answers you need. And wait, sorry, I can't read my own writing. Oh, and don't overdo it on any information. So like what they're saying is like, don't overdo it on listening to like what other people have to say. And of course, I invite you to listen to what I'm saying. Obviously, you're here, but like really tune in to like, okay, I really resonate with what this person's saying. So I'm going to listen to this person and maybe this one other person, but don't overdo it on like listening to like what a million people are saying or what they're experiencing, or like don't put yourself on information overload, essentially, because the call right now is for you to be receiving information from your guides, your higher self, your intuition, and God. That's the call, right? So what you're really being asked to do right now is get your information from within. That is the biggest call, okay? So what they're saying is like, be quiet and alone and tap into the support that you already have, and you'll receive all the answers you need, right? So start to tap into your guides. Start to connect with your cosmic family, okay? And this is what I'm going to be holding space for everyone to do in my course, The Awakening, is connecting with your guides, connecting with your abilities, and connecting with your cosmic family, because that is the call right now. All right. Okay. So the last thing I want to talk about here is the Ascension Symptoms. And I know you guys have probably heard a little bit about this, because as you know, we literally are moving into a new era, a new world, essentially. December 21st is this portal where we're actually moving into the age of Aquarius. So we're literally moving into a new age where the energy is going to completely shift on the planet, okay? And right now, many of us, all of you who are here, are shifting into higher states of consciousness. Your bodies are ascending, and we sometimes have symptoms. So I channeled a few, and I also am just sharing a few that I am feeling as well. And I love to hear what you guys are experiencing too in the chat, but just be aware of these symptoms, okay? So the biggest one for me that I feel all the time is fatigue, where all of a sudden I'm like, oh my God, I'm so tired. And it's like, I have to lay down immediately. I like literally have no energy. That happens to me a lot. The other thing that's been happening a lot lately is I keep waking up at 4 o'clock in the morning, can't go back to sleep. I know some of you guys mentioned earlier that that was happening for you too. So that's another one. The other thing that's happening for me is I have tons of energy running through my body, like right now, especially because these light codes are kind of coming through me and I'm transmitting them. So I feel all this energy moving through my body, and it's almost to the point where like it hurts in a sense. Like I get like, ugh, kind of a feeling. Oh, Emma, you're up at 4 a.m. Oh, Kylie, thank you so much. You're amazing. Okay, so yeah, so tons of energy moving through your body. And this I feel a lot because I actually am aware of like the upgrades happening, because my guides will actually coming and like I'll see it swirling around my body. So just be aware of that too, because you're probably experiencing the same thing. A lot of physical pain. I'll get like weird pains in like my legs a lot, or in my lower back, or in my hips. And then just a lot of emotional stuff coming up, where it's almost like I feel like I'm on an emotional roller coaster. Like 1 second I am like so excited about everything and I feel amazing and I can't wait to like share everything with everyone. And then like 2 seconds later, I'm like crying. Okay, so those are some of the big ones. But just remember that all of this stuff is coming up for you to transmute it and alchemize it so that you can shift, because we're all shifting. The earth is shifting and we are a part of the earth. And not only that, but we came here to assist in this shift, and we are all moving through it together, which is also the really, really fun part of this, is we get to support each other and hold the space for this transformation. And if you are here right now, you came for this, you came to assist with this, you are going to be called to help others assist with that, to help others awaken. Okay. So it's really just important to know that, and to be gentle with yourself, and to create the time and the space for yourself to go through this transformation, especially this week. The next few weeks are just going to be like everything I described. So be with yourself, get support from people that you trust and people that you feel aligned with. And again, if you take nothing else from this, do the thing that your intuition is telling you to do, because that's what's going to move things quickly, right? Just do the thing, even if it scares you, even if it doesn't make sense to you. And also be gentle with yourself. Be loving with yourself. Give yourself the time and the space to be with yourself and receive that support and information that is already there for you. Okay. You guys are up too. You were up last night with a splitting headache. I've been wearing a headband to. Oh, that's a good idea, Andrea. You're awesome. You always have really good ideas. Okay, so that is all the messages. The other thing I just want to mention really quick is, if you are feeling called to awaken your psychic abilities even further and step into higher states of consciousness, connect with your guides, connect with your cosmic family, then the invitation is open to join the awakening. I put the information up there. It's really accessible. There's an awesome payment plan. And I just know that this is the space that I'm supposed to be holding right now for people to really start to awaken their abilities. I've seen with my other clients and my other programs that their abilities just start to naturally awaken in the work that we do together. So I just felt inspired to create a course that is specifically to allow you the space to awaken your abilities and start to connect with that loving support that's already around you and now is so available to you because the universe and the planet is supporting it. So that is it for now. Please let me know what questions you have. I do think I'm going to do another video on the 21st. I might do it on the 20th. I have to feel into the energy, but around that portal, I'd like to do another energetic forecast. So stay tuned for that because I love doing these. It's so much fun. So let me know how this resonated and let me know what questions you have about the awakening or anything else. I would love to hear from you, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.